Hi YouTube. Okay, I gotta speak on this. Okay, so it's been well known now that the government, the military-industrial complex, the United States military, has the capabilities to manipulate the weather, i.e., hurricanes, tornadoes. You can either slow them down, speed them up, and control their direction a little bit. Rain, monsoons, earthquakes, fires, things of that nature. So there's been a lot of stuff. I've been doing a lot of research, um, and the first big one was Hawaii and California, the wildfires, how they got out of control, and also in I think in Wyoming now it's going on. And the funny thing about it was in Hawaii, right before the fires, a lot of people were taking videos and they had some house videos and stuff of these green lights coming down from the sky. I guess from satellites or whatever, or whatever is they're using to these lasers, whatever, were coming down, sweeping over Hawaii. There's a bunch of videos that I saw, and I saw, the news, the media, they try to cover it up, and they'll say, it was the military using airplanes or something like that. There were no airplanes in the sky. This was not. The light was going back and forth very fast. There's no airplane that can do that. You know what I'm saying? The media is lying, and they're trying to cover it up, because the Illuminati, the elites, they own the media. This latest thing about the hurricanes, and tornadoes that happened in like Hurricane Helene in Tampa that went through Florida, and then there's another hurricane that went through Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm gonna get to those in a minute. But first, the fire in Hawaii. The funny thing about it was that Oprah Winfrey, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, these rich guys, The Rock, they own these properties in Hawaii, and their properties did not get damaged at all. And everybody, the neighborhoods, everything right next, like right along their property line, everything else burned up, and they wanted to acquire that property. So there's, a bunch of conspiracy saying that, they use lasers to burn and start those fires so that the rich people could add on, and build bunkers and add on to their property, and develop and take that land from, you know, Native Hawaiians. And I think that's true. If you look at there, like I was doing a bunch of research, and they're saying that some of these cars that I was seeing, the vehicles were melted. Like it's got to be like they said like 1,000 or 2,000 degrees in order to melt rims and the frame of a vehicle. I mean, entire engines. The hood was melted into the motor. Like the rims were melted. You know what I'm saying? Like how hot it got to be. And it's funny is that they're saying that if a house or a car is blue, it didn't get damaged or it didn't have as much damage. So they were showing these pictures and there were like rows of cars just being melted, but the blue cars were fine, or they like barely got any kind of damage, or they were no damage at all. And the houses, all of them, be burned down, and anyone that had like a blue roof or blue paint on the roof, it didn't get burned. So they're saying that blue, or the color blue, somehow reflects the light or something like that. That's the Hawaii situation. Now, I look, I'm 43. I have never seen in my lifetime this many tornadoes in my life. In my life, like in Florida, Hurricane Helene, right before the hurricane hit the land, they're saying it was 11 tornadoes. 11 tornadoes you know, that just destroyed that whole area. And then, you know, the hurricane come through. That's just that's unheard of. That's unprecedented. You know what I'm saying? And then I live in North Carolina. I've been in North Carolina all my life. And in Asheville, man, like unless you're on the coast, you know, I haven't really seen like hurricane damage like this in my life. And especially like in Asheville, that's like in the mountains almost. It's unprecedented. It's unheard of. The damage that was done there. And again, it has to do with the elites. All these places that are getting hit with this weather, like in Florida, Tampa Bay, they're trying to get that real estate. You know what I'm saying? Like in Asheville, North Carolina, there's a bunch of rumors saying that they want to get the lithium mines or whatever. The rich people, the elites, they own, you know, the oil, the mines and stuff like that. And they're trying to expand, and the residents are, you know, like, hey, we're not trying to sell our property. And, you know, you need to chill out with your mining because it's creating pollution. And so, I mean, the easiest thing to do is just, you know, create a natural disaster. That way there's no accountability. You know what I mean? We don't have to go, like, shoot everybody, execute everybody, you know, in a 100-mile radius. You know, we'll just let a storm do it for us. And I'm going to show you this video, and it talks about how the military-industrial complex, the CIA, the military, they've had this technology for over 50 years. And again, it's all documented in this book, Behold a Pale Horse by William Bill Cooper. I read this book 20 years ago, and it talks about HAARP, HAARP, and DARPA, and they've had this technology to manipulate the weather. It's just using lasers or ions, heating up the ions, and splitting the electrons or whatever, and it makes them into like pellets. And you can either make it rain hard. You can create. They have stuff to make earthquakes, tornadoes, fires or whatever. They've had all this technology for 50 years. They were using it. The CIA admitted to using it in Vietnam to flush out monsoons, to flush out the Viet Cong out of the forest and stuff. But again, who has all this money and resources to accomplish these things and hide it and then control the media? It would be the Illuminati, the elites, you know, the people that own the military industrial complexes, the mining companies, you know, and they use the media. They also own the media. They own everything, and they use the media to cover it. I just want you to first. I want to show you how they try to cover it up. So, just look at this right here. The title of this fact check social media post claim the government is seizing North Carolina lithium after Helene. Watch this motherfucker. Listen to this asshole.
The damage from that storm that was caused to Western North Carolina is unprecedented. And now it's leading to some conspiracy theories about how it all happened. Paul Spey is here now to check one social media rumor for PolitiFact.
Just how did Western North Carolina get hit so hard? Well, some people on social media say there's more to the devastation than meets the eye. Check out the Facebook post from this woman who says Asheville sits on top of billions of dollars of lithium, so she believes the disaster there was man-made through what she calls geoengineering. And first of all, that's not possible. No one has ever created a hurricane before. And secondly, this rumor about the government trying to seize lithium, it's come up before after other disasters like the wildfires in Hawaii. The rumor was wrong
like I was talking about.
And it's wrong now. Mining data shows North Carolina has no active lithium mines. The biggest one in the U.S. is actually in Nevada. Now, one company does plan to open a mine near Charlotte by the end of 2027. You can see the Charlotte Observer reported on that here. But this site, it's still almost 100 miles away from Asheville and Chimney Rock, which suffered some of the most damage. That social media rumor is wrong on multiple levels, and it's why the Truth Meter rates it pants on fire. Read more of our fact checks at WRL.com.
Yo, you see how this motherfucker lying his ass off, and I'm, yo, like, who the fuck is you to say, oh, that the geoengineering is not possible, it's never been done and shit. obviously you haven't read the book, and you haven't. I mean, it's just the media lies for these people. This is what they do. They spread lies, and they should be held accountable for every natural disaster that is occurring now because they have the technology. I'm gonna show it to you right now.
Speculate about the agendas and objectives being carried out, but the fact that these storms are absolutely being manipulated and steered is inarguable. The denial of this fact is absolutely ludicrous at this point. We know the U.S. military and others around the globe, but U.S. military has been engaged in these operations since 1947, Project Cirrus. How far have they come since that point? So the cyclones are being kept weakened over water with manipulation of atmospheric pressure zones, and once they're near enough to the land-based network of frequency transmitters, the NexRad network, they are steered, and that steering is incredibly inarguable if we look at the animation of the frequency transmissions and their interaction with the storm, in this case Hurricane Helene. We recorded that, and that video, if we can roll that now, the interaction is absolutely inarguable.
Result of natural processes and climate patterns, or was it manipulated? The circular blue flashes seen in this video are frequency transmissions from the NexRad network of transmitter installations. All available science evidence makes clear that atmospheric frequency transmissions can and do have a repelling effect on air masses, especially if and when the air masses have been seeded with electrically conductive nanoparticles. The brighter the blue flash from a frequency transmission installation, the more pronounced and powerful the repelling effect on any air mass or storm in the vicinity will be. Where there are no blue flashes, there is no transmission, thus no repelling effect, thus no resistance for a migrating storm. Translation: a migrating storm will be hindered from moving toward frequency transmissions and will easily migrate in a direction with no transmissions. So again, I ask, was Hurricane Helene's path and behavior just an act of nature, or was it engineered? You decide.
The bottom line is it was directed there, as the transmission recordings clearly show. They kept that moisture corralled there to deluge in the same location. So again, these are patented technologies, and the fact that we have the entire so-called meteorological community denying that this is going on to protect their paychecks and pensions is absolutely criminal at this point. We know we have private defense contractors that are neck deep in the patents that manipulate these storms, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin. We know those two in particular do the weather modeling for the nation's weathermen, National Weather Service and NOAA. Again, both agencies have an illegal federal gag order on them. So at this point, this is an emperor has no clothes moment. That's the best description I can give for something that is so blatantly obvious and inarguable, can only be considered weather warfare at this point. And the fact that, again, the so-called science community is denying this manipulation is criminal. It's absolutely criminal, Colonel McGregor.
Why do you think
criminally, son? Criminal.
The Asheville area in particular turned out to be a target? Does it have anything to do with the mining operations there for lithium or quartz? Is that just coincidental? I'm just curious. Again, people in Asheville are asking these questions. They're trying to find a rationale for why they ended up being in the middle of this.
Well, certainly it's hard to call anything a coincidence at this point, isn't it? I mean, we have so many agendas and objectives being carried out with every action of the military industrial complex and the money printer bankers that fund them and control them ultimately. And we have a cyclonic rotation like this that does that kind of decimation inland. And yet we have in the record warm Gulf of Mexico, nothing develops, nothing spins or damages the oil infrastructure there. Why is that? We see any rotation that comes anywhere near the oil infrastructure is immediately broken up. Yet we have this type of scenario happening inland. So again, once you interfere with the climate system, the entire system becomes derailed, and we have a global network interfering with the system. We have documents at geoengineeringwatch.org, some hundreds of pages long, some nearly 1,000 pages long, documenting the international cooperation in these programs, even between otherwise adversarial nations. So again, they will try to hide and deny these programs until the last possible hour, Colonel McGregor, because if the public realizes the entire weather system has been derailed and is being manipulated, and no weather cataclysm can then be said to be natural, which means that you can't deny the connection of climate engineering for any event anywhere, the liability issue is incalculable. And so, again, even this one issue that just happened in the Carolinas, how could you possibly even calculate the liability issue there when hundreds of people are still missing? I believe 100 already officially declared dead, but hundreds still missing. If this issue is brought out into the open, the fur is going to fly, Colonel McGregor.
If you can do so, could you tell us about some of your recent discussions, conversations, briefings that you've had with political leaders from the states in question that have asked you what you think? First of all, what did they specifically ask you, if you could tell us, and how did they respond to your answers?
Yes, Colonel McGregor, I had an hour conference call yesterday with the representatives and senators from the Carolinas, and we presented the data to them to answer their questions about how this manipulation occurs. They realized this was not a natural event. They're trying to digest the fact that their states were literally under assault from weather modification operations that are clearly connected with DoD operations, and we can speculate again on the agendas and objectives being carried out, but the fact that the storm was manipulated is absolutely inarguable. We know that technology to stop these rotations from even occurring has existed for decades with the manipulation of atmospheric pressure zones. HAARP in Alaska is one example many people are familiar with. That's an ionosphere heater. That's a weapon of mass destruction, period.
That's the one in the book I was telling you about, HAARP, HAARP.
Which heats it to extraordinarily high temperatures, which causes the atmosphere to bulge up and down. The downward push creates a high pressure dome that can steer the jet stream. And the same type of manipulation can create low pressure zones. When they have this type of power over the climate system, they can make or break these storms anytime they want. And again, what we see now is storms kept weaker as they're over the ocean because they're harder to steer until they reach the land-based network of transmitters. And then we have, Colonel McGregor, rapid intensification. You've heard that term probably a lot lately because that's how they manipulate these storms. And again, we have Acapulco last October being the extreme example of rapid intensification. An insignificant low pressure system developed into the strongest Cat 5 hurricane to ever hit that part of the world in less than 24 hours, laid waste to Acapulco. And by the way, Hurricane John, which just hit Acapulco again as Hurricane Helene was wreaking havoc in the Carolinas. Not many people know that. So Acapulco just got dealt another blow. So again, how many agendas and objectives are being carried out when we know they can manipulate these storms and we know they can make or break them anytime they want? And again, I bring up the oil infrastructure in the Gulf of Mexico that seems to magically miss any sort of damaging storm again and again and again, while the storms wreak havoc inland and on shorelines. It's not a coincidence. They have that much sway over the storms.
Yeah. Well, when you highlighted these anomalies to the audience of political leaders and representatives and so forth, how did they react? Did they react with a degree of serious skepticism, or did they take you seriously?
They're in shock. They're in shock. Because when you realize that you're literally at war with those who control the federal government, how does one digest that? And when we go all the way back to, again, as I've referenced many times, 1962, 62 years ago, Lyndon Johnson, President Johnson, then stating we had the power to control the world's cloud layer, and he who controls the weather controls the world. We're seeing this happen all over the globe. We're seeing countries like Dubai, as you remember recently, got 2 years worth of rain, 2 years worth in 6 hours, right after they decided to ditch the dollar. Is that a coincidence? We see this kind of event over and over.
See, right after they decided to ditch the US dollar, they got hit with a catastrophic, weather event and in Dubai. And it's like he was saying, the Illuminati, they own, all the rich people, they own all the oil companies. And miraculously, the oil, the ones that are owned by the elites, they never have a problem with the weather. Like the storms always break up before it hits their area. And like this guy was saying, it's unprecedented I've never seen this shit in my entire life, bro. I've never seen this many hurricanes in my, tornadoes in my life. And to have like so many of them, like you used to get a random hurricane, a tornado here and there. Man, like they had 11 tornadoes in Florida, and they just got hit again. Like they just had a hurricane come through there and tear it up. And now it got hit again, and it's like, that's what they do. Like with the Illuminati, man, it's like all these companies, Kellogg's, McDonald's, Starbucks, Exxon Mobil, IBM, Amazon, all the companies, what I'm saying, the rich people that own all these companies, man. It's like, it's the same rich people at the top that own all the companies. They have a majority of stocks in every company. Therefore, they basically own all the companies. The rich people, they buy all the stock in most of the good companies, and they essentially, that makes them the owner of the company. And so they're majority leaders or owners of all the companies in, the United States or the world just about. And what happens when you have all the money in all the companies? Like, what do you do next? Go for the real estate. And that's what they're doing now. They're going for the real estate. They're trying to do all these so-called natural disasters. There's nothing fucking natural about 11 fucking tornadoes in Florida right before the goddamn hurricane come, and it was a level 3. This wasn't no level 5 or nothing. This was a Cat 3 tornado. That's nothing. That's nothing. There's nothing natural about 11 fucking tornadoes. If you look at the damage, that shit is unnatural. That's not natural. I ain't never seen no shit in my life. And just like, man, you talk to these, like, just like, I was watching these interviews about people in Nashville, and they're like, yo, there's nothing, this is, we never ever seen anything like this. Like, nobody has ever seen anything like this because it's not natural. It's not natural. Like, you just seen the video, and like, you can just do your research like I've been doing my research. Like I said, man, it's all in this book, bro. I read this shit over 20 years ago. It talks about DARPA. It talks about how they do it, how they're using the lasers, and how they're, separating the ions or whatever. You separate the ions and it makes it like dirt particles, and then you can cause it to rain tornado. You can make everything. They can do earthquakes, fires, anything. And they call it it's not a natural disaster. It's geoengineering. And then you get this little faggot fuck over here lying his ass off, talking about, man, listen.
Check out the Facebook post. Well, some people on social media did Western North Carolina.
I don't even want to hear that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But to have this little fat faggot fuck come up here and start lying and shit, talk about this is impossible. Geoengineering has never happened before. It's a lie. And there's all this evidence, and the CIA has even admitted to using it for over 50 years. And they got this. We have in Alaska HAARP, HAARP, which is a geoengineering station in Alaska. We own that, the United States. Like, and to have this dude talk about, oh, this is pants on fire lie. You know what I mean? This is all lies. This dude is part of the media, and he's just reading off a script, telling what he's been told to tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody in the media, you can't believe nothing. You can't believe everything you fucking hear. You know what I'm saying? You need to start asking questions and like use your fucking mind. Like, bro, when you see some shit that ain't right, you need to ask some fucking questions. Like, I know it ain't right to have 11 fucking tornadoes. You know what I'm saying? Right before a level 3 hurricane hit, that don't make no sense. It's nothing natural about it. And motherfucking Asheville, North Carolina, it's undeniable. Just do the research, man. Just do the research. There's a lithium mine. They're talking about, oh yeah, this guy was like saying, oh yeah, there's one in Charlotte, but Granville is 100 miles away. Motherfucker, that's how much lithium they got. It stretches all the way to Charlotte. It's that much lithium there. That's why they trying to take that land. That's why they trying to do these natural disasters. There's nothing natural about it. Yo, if Asheville, North Carolina, if that area ever get hit again, you know it's something wrong. No, you know it's something fishy. Something ain't right. And watch, I bet you, you know what I'm saying, next year they probably get hit again. You know what I'm saying? Or something else will come along. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll just make it hard. What they just try to make it hard, you know what I'm saying, on people that live there so that they'll make them want to leave. You know, if you, like, I was watching, like, the Hurricane Helene and people from Florida, and they were like, there's a lot of people talking about, yo, we're done. We're out of here. We're selling. We're moving. We're not staying here. We got a hurricane after hurricane after hurricane. You know, our house get torn down. You build it back up. It tore down again. Like, fuck this shit. And that's what they try to do. They'll try to make it hard on you and just make you give up. You know what I'm saying? And then there's like that thing that a lot of people, like, you can't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the government, they try to deny it. You know, and it's the military, the Air Force is in on it, the DOD, the Department of Defense, the military, they're all, the Navy, they all are in on it. You know what I'm saying? And the military industrial complex, they work with the military. Like he said, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, whatever the other one is. All these military industrial complexes, they own this technology. They've had it for a long time. They're using it for the elites. Like the rich people, the elites own that company. And so they can control, you know, what goes on with that technology. And they're using it maliciously to take the real estate. The real estate. So wherever there is lithium, quartz, whatever, some precious minerals, gold, silver, whatever, platinum, you know, wherever there's something, money to be made, they're going to try to take that land using this technology and just say, oh, it's a natural disaster. There's nothing fucking natural about any of this shit. Like just, you got to fucking use your eyes, like, use your head. Like, see, like, I'm an older cat. So I've been here in the United States my whole life. I've never seen shit like this in my life. Never seen no shit like this, man. I ain't never seen this many tornadoes. Just the tornadoes this year and last year, it's unheard of. It's unheard of. Like, bro, 20 years ago, man, you might see, like, in the news, 3, 4, 5 tornadoes they might talk about for the whole year. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, man. Like, nobody's making this shit up. Like, this is all statistically, like, you could just, like I said, do your research, man. Like, I be researching this stuff, I look it up, and, you know, there's a lot of people on social media right now in Asheville, and they're saying that, you know, FEMA is not coming out and trying to help them. They're not trying to bring resources. They're trying to make it hard. They're trying to make people very uncomfortable, make it difficult on them so they want to leave. And that's exactly what is going on in Tampa, and that Tampa Bay area. That's prime real estate, man. And they want to develop that land. They've got mines, they've got lithium there too, but they want that real estate. That's property. That's prime real estate. Everybody wants property in Florida, you know what I'm saying? And so they're trying to get people to leave so they can lowball them. And, you know, these people in Florida, they're selling their properties dirt cheap now. Like, they just want to fucking get out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like, they lost everything in the storm. They're trying to take this little check and go buy another house somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And it's working. It's working. And it's like, you know, what are you going to do, man? It's like, we got to get rid of these people at the top, man. And there's only really one way, man, is we gonna have like a revolution. Like, we outnumber them, man. we gonna have to kill all the rich people. Like that's just and then we'll be rich. Like they got so much money, man. If you kill if you kill like the 100 top wealthiest people in the world, the whole world would have enough money to end homelessness, poverty, famine. You know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about, and those are the scummiest people of the world, man. I'm not saying like every single one of them, but pretty much all of them. They're all in on it, man. And they're just using us to make them rich. You know what I'm saying? They're taking advantage of everyone. They're costing everyone on this planet a hard time, using us as slave labor, you know, making money on us by poisoning us. Then we got to go to the hospital and, you know, get health insurance and pay the doctor bills, you know, at our expense. So at everyone else's expense, everyone has to suffer so that a handful of people can get all the fucking money. It's just greedy. It's just greedy. This shit ain't right, man. This shit, just like the dude said, this shit is criminal. This shit is criminal, man, because you got all the money, so you got these resources like the military, lasers, the satellites. You have access to this shit. The richest people in the world, it's just a handful of them. But they're the ones that only ones that have access to this shit and control the media. And they do this shit just to population control, just to make you suffer, just so that they can get rich. And fuck a conspiracy. Like, this is really happening. Like, this shit is really going on, man. And it's only one way. The same way that in history, man, like I said, we study history and, you know, it's not just about reciting facts, but looking at cycles. And in history, man, what happens is all throughout history, there's a king, a dictator, they start taxing the people, then they start increasing the taxes, and the people get sick of it, and they kill the fucking king, and everybody's happy. And then they get a new king, if he don't act right, they kill his ass too, and kill his fucking family. And that's what we gonna have to do. We gonna have to kill these motherfuckers, yo. That's the only solution. I mean, there is no, because what did they do? How did they get rich? Most of them, you know, they ancestors, they came over here from England, you know what I'm saying? Robbed and stole all the land from the Native Americans, you know, got slaves and shit, and then, you know, generational wealth. And those are the richest people in the world right now. And they profited from slavery. You know, you don't just, I mean, like someone like Jeff Bezos, you know, I'll give it to him. Mark Zuckerberg, they started from nothing. They made their own company. They made it for themselves. Warren Buffett, he probably made it for himself. But there's a lot of people that are generationally wealthy. And it's just because their parents had slaves. Their grandparents had slaves. You know, if you trace their family tree, you know, they were the first ones that came over here and colonized America and stole all the land from the Native Americans. So everything they have is dirty money. It's been stolen. It's been acquired at the expense or the hardship or murdering or suffering of everyone else. So it's like we all suffering just for one family to fucking have more money than they know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Just be greedy and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, at this point, like this dude was saying, the military dude was saying, there is no fucking natural disaster. There is no hurricane. There is nothing that happens now that is like coincidence. Like, it's all, like, if you have the technology and you're not using it for good to save, you know, Americans or protect lives, like, you shouldn't have control of that technology. You shouldn't be the one in control. We need to get rid of these motherfuckers that own all these companies and shit, the people at the top, because if you got the technology and all you're doing is using it to kill out and wipe out residents so that you can take their land and take over the mines and just take the real estate from people, then you shouldn't have control of that shit. and we can take it back because we outnumber them. And like I said, man, that's what happens, man. When you get all the money and you have all the companies, you own everything. What the only thing that you don't own is the fucking land. And so that's like if you're a homeowner, or if you talk to any homeowner, you'll see that everyone's getting harassed now. There's these real estate companies that are trying to buy all the homes now. Like, I get fucking 5 calls every week. I get harassed about these fucking companies trying to buy my property. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a homeowner. But if you're not a homeowner, if you're a renter or a leaser, then they're not going to bother you. So they're harassing homeowners now, trying to buy all the property. Every homeowner is experiencing this right now. And it's criminal, the harassment that, we're getting. But if you own property, you know what I'm talking about. And you know what I'm talking about. Like, if you experience the same thing I'm talking about, please comment. Let me know I'm not crazy. Because I swear to God, like, everyone that I know that's a homeowner, they're getting harassed and someone's trying to buy their property. You know what I'm saying? And that's the plan now. Because they own everything now. They own all the companies. They have all the money. The only thing they don't have is the real estate. And so all you hear now, everybody trying to get into real estate. You know what I'm saying? Everybody trying to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like the ultimate hustle. And they're trying to stop that shit so nobody else can get rich like them. So what they did is they changed up the real estate shit now. It used to be like a set thing, like 5%, like real estate, licensed real estate agents, they would get like a commission of like 5%. Now they're trying to make it negotiable. So, you're going to have a lot of people doing price competition. Oh, my fee is only 4%. I'll do it for 3.5%. And it's going to make it real estate, people with licensed real estates, agents, it's going to make it, not really worth it for them, or it's going to make it harder for them. But it's just, they're trying to take away, like, a lot of people, normal regular people are trying to get into the real estate game and get a property and then flip it, or, get multiple properties and then rent them out so that they can have, passive income every month. They have like 4 or 5 properties and get like, $4,000 or $5,000, you know what I'm saying, every month off those properties. And that way you don't have to work no more. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's trying to do that, and they're trying to stop that shit. They're trying to stop it. They don't want nobody. They want y'all to work. They want y'all to be slaves forever. So they don't want y'all doing that. So they're trying to buy all the property so that you can't do that shit. So you can't hustle. So that you can't, be like them. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to get on. And then once they own all the property, they're going to start raising the prices and shit. And that's what's going on. They're buying all the property. And that's why, you know what I'm saying, the rent and the property, you know what I'm saying, it's harder to find a property. You know what I'm saying? We had this bubble and stuff like that, but that was from like COVID or whatever. But right now it's like, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it hard for us to live and, just make it hard on us, man. I mean, like, these people are evil, man. These people are evil. You got to do some of this research, man. Read some of these books. These Illuminati people, they are not your friends. They are not good people. You know what I'm saying? They look at you like a piece of meat. You a slave. You a sheep. You know what I'm saying? You just cattle. We are here for them. We're their slaves. We're here for them. For their pleasure. So they don't have to work. You know what I'm saying? They're not your friends, man. And like, the shit they do, it's criminal, man. It's criminal. And like, if you knew really how like, if you do the research, man, I can't put it all in one video, man. It's like, it's too much to explain. But if you look at how everything's connected, and you really knew just how bad it is, and how much what kind of shit that they're doing against us, just so they can get rich or hurt us or keep population control, or you would hate them to their guts, to where you would really kill all of them. Like, I'm saying, if people knew this information, man, and they really researched, they read this book, and you know what I'm saying, you did your research, you really found out what's going on, and you see what's going on around you, and you fucking wake up and you know, quit believing the fucking media and everything that you see on the news, and start thinking for yourself, and you'll see that this shit is not right. What's going on? Ain't nothing normal about this shit. You would want to get rid of them. You would know that's the best thing for your children. We would all come together and slaughter them, and everything would be fine. We'd have no more problems. If we just get rid of these rich people, man, and just kill them, take their shit, man, we'd all be rich. I mean, I'm telling you, that's in history. That's the cycle. That's what happens. That's what happens. The rich people get rich. They get greedy. They raise the taxes, and then they get killed. And it's a cycle. And this is the longest we've been without a revolution, without the rich people getting killed. Because what they've done, they've given us technology, all this entertainment, all this TV. They keep you distracted. You know, you watch all these sports and shit. You know, they give you entertainment. You know, that's why the hip hop and the entertainment, the dancers and the musicians and the actors are so well paid. You know what I'm saying? Because that's keeping us distracted. That's keeping us from killing them. This is the longest we've ever been without a revolution, without the fucking rich people getting killed. It's always happened in history. That's how you have these different civilizations and these kings get toppled or whatever, because people realize that we are the slaves. We're getting taken advantage of. They're using us. They don't give a shit about us, and they're getting rich off of us, off of our suffering, our hard work. And then people start waking up and saying, hey man, let's kill these motherfuckers. Let's take their shit and we'll be fucking rich. We'll be good. We don't need them. They need us. And this is the man, you gotta fucking not just study history. Don't just go to high school and just read these books. That's that bullshit in high school. When you go to college, like a 4-year university, and you got a good professor, and you start looking at history and not just, you know, oh, it was this king and then this king and then this king. Well, why was it this king and this king and this king? It's because this motherfucker got killed. This motherfucker took over his shit and tried to take his shit. And it's all about money. It's all about money and conquering this land and taking his shit. And then the people, you know, get tired of the shit and they kill the fucking kings because they did all the fucking work. And they ain't getting no money, and they starving and shit, and they did all the killing for the king. And they said, man, fuck this shit. We gonna kill his ass, and we'll have everything. And that's how history goes. That is a cycle. And it's always been like that since the beginning of time. And this is the longest that we've gone without a revolution, without the kings, the richest people in the world getting killed. This is the longest because they got you distracted. Because you mentally dead now. Because you sleeping up here. Because you not looking to see what's going on around. People ain't going to school and studying history. You know what I'm saying? They're not asking no questions. They just watching TV, watching the sports, watching the entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Just doing the drugs and shit. Doing the drinking and shit. Like, they mentally dead. People are mentally dead now, and they're not waking up. They're not seeing what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to wake the fuck up, man.